Hi you guys. Okay, well you can see that the scenery's changed again. We have reached our destination and we're in New York, and the weather has changed. Look, I'm wearing a sweater. It's fun. We love this temperature. It's the perfect temperature. But of course it won't last that long because we'll be here for the beginning of snow too, probably. But anyway, but we like that too. Anyway, okay, first I want to tell you that I miss writing to you guys because we've been on the road, and then of course I'm technically challenged. And so tomorrow Jose's going to set me up so I can read your comments and respond and everything, and we'll get back to normal for a while. Okay. Anyway, now, where did we leave off? Because we got interrupted by visiting Hannah.
How about the shout outs?
Oh, I'm going to do shout outs. Hopefully I'm going to do shout outs on Friday. Okay, yeah, Jose just reminded me. Okay, anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, we got interrupted by me introducing Hannah. And now we're back to the story. So I left off where I had just met the Christians that had contacts with YWAM, Youth with a Mission, in England. And now all of a sudden my heart's desire was to go to England to do what they did and be over there for a while. And so, but there was a whole process, you know. You had to apply, I had only been a Christian at that time for 5 months, and so you had to apply. I didn't know what the whole rigmarole was, but so they arranged for me to get an application to go to YWAM in England, and now I had to there was different things. I had to wait to be accepted, and I was hoping, praying. And this school, this was like, I don't know, May or something, 3 months, it was 3 months before September, because the school started in September, and by the time I got there in September, I already had been a Christian for 8 months. So, September of '79. But anyway, there was stuff to do before I got there, and my heart was broken. My heart, although I was so excited to go and I wanted to go, I had 2 pets. I had a Boston Terrier named Penny, and my baby, and I had a cat, a little kitty cat named Samantha. They were my babies. They had been my only friends for 1.5 years, and I loved them so much. They were like they were my family. And so what was I gonna do? Well, I was just heartbroken, but you know, God did a miracle. Because I realized that I had to leave them behind, but I didn't know how or what. But anyway, one day I was at the grocery store, and I used to take Penny, my Boston Terrier, wherever I went. And what I would do is I had a Jeep, and even with the top down, what I would do is I would wrap her in my jacket. I would wrap her in my jacket, and she would just sit there for the whole ride. And anyway, so one day I was at the supermarket, and I was just sitting there waiting to go in, and there were little kids that came up to the window of my car, and they saw Penny, and they really wanted. So I put down my window to talk to them, and it turned out that they were people that had Boston Terriers. So I told them, these little kids, I told them my predicament, and they said, we're going to ask our mom if we can have her. And so we did little introductions with, I took Penny over to their house, and she fell in love with their dogs and with them. And you know what? That was Penny's new home. And then Samantha, my parents said that they would take Samantha. They had moved to Oregon. So they said they would hold Samantha for me until I got back, thinking that I was going to come back. Anyway, so what happened was, oh yeah, something else happened. Okay, remember how manipulative I had been with that family, you know, wanting to get to know stars, and Lorne Greene and his family, and I had done whatever I could to get into their household by really, you know, manipulating my way into doing whatever I could for their daughter, who was 10 years younger than me. Well, I started to feel bad. I started to really feel bad, thinking, that is not good what I did. And so I called up the Nancy, who is Lorne's wife, and I was so scared, because here I was going to confess out all of my you know, my undercurrent ways, or whatever you want to say, my not so good ways. Anyway, so she was so sweet on the phone. I told her that I felt like I had manipulated into their lives, and she said, you know what? I was using you too. So we both said we were sorry, asked forgiveness of each other, because she was using me as a babysitter, a free babysitter, right? Anyway, it turned out good, because I saw them. Actually, my parents moved to Oregon, and so I stayed with them 2 weeks before I left for Oregon, because my mom came back down and then she drove up with me. And it was just wonderful. But you know what? My heart had changed, because it's like I didn't care so much about knowing stars anymore. And they even took me down to Reno. I was staying with them in Lake Tahoe, and they even took me down to Reno to see a show of, remember the singing nun, Debbie Reynolds? And they took me to see Debbie Reynolds live, and I even met her. And it was not as big a deal as what I thought it would be. And another thing that happened to show that my heart had changed, before my life started to change, 5 months before, I had written to Doris Day, thinking that, because Doris Day was my favorite star, and I wanted, again, to manipulate my way into the life of Doris Day. So she was really into animals. And so I wrote to her and said that I wanted to be to work with her, and I would even work with her for free, right? Because I wanted to get into her life. And you know what? After my life started to change, I received a letter from her, I don't know, probably not from her, but from her assistant or whatever, saying they would love to have me work for them. And you know what? I didn't care anymore. I did. I mean, I still wanted to, you know, that my heart was torn. I thought, oh, I would have loved to do that, but this was more important, going on my new adventure. And so I went up and stayed with my parents for 2 or 3 weeks, I forget. And the next thing I'm going to tell you, next story, is what happened when I got to England. So obviously I was accepted, right? Okay, so dream big and go for it.